Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Streng, and I'm an early Head Start home visitor with Centerstone. If you are interested in learning more about Centerstone's programs and services, I invite you to check out centerstone.org. Or if you prefer, you can call 1-877-HOPE-123 or call 877-467-123. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm going to be sharing with you a simple activity that I'm fairly certain you will have most of the supplies for at home, if not all. And if there was something you didn't have, it would not be difficult to get nor expensive. So I'm going to say that this activity today that I share with you, which is called rhyming pairs, would be appropriate for a 3-year-old, a young 3-year-old who may be entering preschool soon, or even a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. There were, my last 2 years of full-time teaching up in Michigan were with kindergarten, and I found that rhyming was a big part of the beginning of the year's curriculum. So what I have here are 1, 2, 3 plates. All right. Now, what if you don't have plates or you like to save them to eat off of with your family? You don't really need plates for this. So I just finished a big box of Cheerios the other day. You could always use circles that you cut from a box for this activity. In just a moment, you'll see why that is going to work perfectly. All right. So why rhyming? Rhyming is actually a really important skill that is often referred to as phonemic awareness, in that it teaches our little ones to listen more closely to the sounds they hear in words. And so one aspect of phonemic awareness is learning to recognize rhyme. And so while I'm giving this little spiel, I'm going to just share with you a few books that I happen to have here, just show you the titles, because 3-year-olds sometimes, and even 4-year-olds, and sometimes young 5s, sometimes aren't really interested in some normally written stories. And I'm not saying this very well, but what I want to share with you is this. If you can focus on sharing books with your child that involve rhyming, that are short, with colorful illustrations, and if the child likes a book long enough, that child's going to want you to read that book again and again and again. And then something really fun can happen. When you're reading a story and you read the first line and then you read the second line, but you stop before you get to the rhyming word, your child will eventually fill in that missing rhyming word. So like, for example, let's say the end of one line was knee, like he fell and skinned his knee. And then the second line of the story might be, because he fell out of a, and your child would eventually say tree, and plus you've got a picture cue there to help him. All right, so some books that are great for rhyming, and this is just a few I happen to have on hand. Green Eggs and Ham, Dr. Seuss, a classic for rhyme. Any of the Sandra Boynton books have great rhyming. This is Barnyard Dance, a classic. Little Blue Truck, wonderful book with rhymes. And this one, I have a little guy that I've been reading to, and I keep, who's on my caseload, and I always offer him 2 choices. He only wants this one, Robot Kitties. and there are rhymes in it, and it has totally got his attention. And then this is another nice one, especially for preschoolers, Dr. Seuss's ABC. You get double the money on this one because it introduces the ABCs, lots of words that start with the same sound of the letters of the alphabet, and it rhymes. All right, so here's our little activity. So I think I just Googled dark line or black line images on the internet to find some rhyming pairs that were simple enough for me to draw. So I'm going to show you the ones that I did. I think I've got them out of order now, but it doesn't matter too much. So let's see here. Oh, moon and spoon. And again, you probably have some junk mail or something you could just cut up to draw these on. Moon and spoon. Oh, and then I used a permanent marker, but if you don't have a permanent marker, who cares? Doesn't matter. Shoe, two. Yeah, I had to work at that shoe a little bit. You're right. You saw these, tree and knee. Stair, chair. Now, it occurred to me that if you drew these, you could even have your preschooler color them, which might be fun and give your preschooler some ownership. Bug, rug. B3. And cat, hat. All right, so if I was just starting out with this, I would, with a 3-year-old, I would only start with 3 pairs of rhyming words. So I have separated out here tree and knee, and I would lay these down. You won't be able to see this, but I'll describe it for you. I would lay these down in front of my 3 or 4-year-old. Two and shoe, whoop, there we go. Only I would not match them up by pairs. I'd kind of mix them up a little bit. Moon and spoon. Okay, so I think if I was to do this with a child, okay, I'm going to spread out my 3 plates or my 3 circles. I got to move some of my stuff here, some of my supplies. So I have in front of me 1, 2, 3 plates and my cards. So you always want to make sure you have your child's attention. And let's see, I'm going to need some clothespins. Forgot to say that. And you remember we used clothespins in another activity where I showed you how to make the letters of your preschooler's name or your 2 to 3-year-old's name and how to clip them on, how to match the letter and clip it onto a craft stick. So if you did end up buying some clothespins for that, you would also have enough for this. So I'm going to pretend now I have a child with me, and I'm going to say, once I know I have my child's attention, I might say, all right, Toby, I've got some pictures out here. Can you help me name these pictures? And he probably could recognize all of them. And depending on how far along their speech was, he might very clearly say them. So I'd say, what's this one? Knee? How about this one? Spoon? How about this one? Two? I'm pointing to each one, all right, just so you know. Shoe? Oh, what's that one, Mommy? Well, it's in the sky at night sometimes. Oh, moon, like in that book I have. And tree. All right. So then I would start off and I would pick one. I'm going to pick up a clothespin. I'm going to say, Toby, watch me do this. I'm going to pick the tree. And I'm going to take the clothespin. Maybe I pretend it's like a little alligator or something again. And I'm going to grab that tree. And then I'm going to take a plate. And I'll hold this up so you can see this at home, moms and dads. And I'm going to say, Toby, let's clip it to the plate. And I would probably have to help him at first, so there it is. So now he's got the tree on one plate. And then I might say, Toby, we need to find another picture that sounds like tree. Let's see if we can figure it out. You help me, all right? And so you might try it like this. Tree, I'm pointing to the tree, and then I'm gonna point to each picture. You can see my hand at the bottom of the screen, and I'll save them for him so he can start to hear how they sound together and eventually be able to recognize the two that sound the same that actually rhyme. So I would say tree, moon. Do those sound the same? No. Let's try another one. Tree, spoon. Do those sound the same? No, you're right. They don't sound the same. How about tree, knee? Tree, knee. Does your mouth stay the same when you say those, Toby? And he might notice, he might not notice, but that's what practice is for, right? So you help him recognize that tree is the match, and then you tell him to get a clothespin, and it's really hard to like just scoop up one of these with a clothespin off the table. So he's gonna have to pick it up in his hand, but they usually love manipulating things like this, like kitchen tongs to pick up cotton balls or those little plastic golf balls or things. They think that's great fun. And it's great for them too. So I'm gonna say, Toby, you found the knee. Now, can you put it on the plate with the tree so they are together? So he's not gonna put it on one of the two empty ones. He's gonna bring it over here, and you as parent, you might have to help him. Let's see, Toby, can I help you clip that onto there like the other one? There we go. And then you give him a round of applause, praise him for his efforts. Even if he wasn't entirely successful, he's with you and he's trying. And that's how we build. So then let's see, I think I dropped one on the floor. Here we go. So then we might say, all right, Toby, pick another one. Maybe he picks the shoe, because I know for a fact he recently got some new shoes and he thinks they're really cool. So let's say Toby picks the shoe, and I say, what do you do next, Toby? And he's gonna get his clothespin, or you're gonna remind him, get your clothespin, squeeze it tight, open up his mouth so he can grab a bite of that shoe. And now, Toby, you get to put it on a new plate all by yourself. So maybe now he's gonna try and do it all by himself without your help. So he's gonna reach over, and you're just gonna be ready to offer assistance if he needs it. Then you might say, wow, Toby, I noticed you squeezed that clothespin really hard, and then you held onto the plate, and you opened up that clothespin just enough to make it stick to that plate. You did an awesome job. You tried really hard. So now you're going to support him to figure out, what rhymes with shoe? So you might go like this. All right, Toby, let's figure out what goes with shoe. What's the rhyming word? And you might say shoe, like you're really listening to how it sounds as you say it for yourself and him. Shoe, moon. Shoe, moon. They're a little bit the same, but nope, they're not rhyming. That's not a match. How about shoe? And I'm pointing to the shoe down here below the screen. Shoe, so he knows right where we are and what we're doing. Shoe, what was this one, Toby? Spoon. Shoe, spoon. And you know, this one actually, moms and dads, could be confusing because they both, if you notice, have an ooh sound in them. So, but with rhyming, we're listening for that vowel sound to be the same in a pair of rhyming words. But the thing that really clinches it is when you've got a match with the ending sound. So even though shoe and moon both share the ooh sound in the middle, they don't have the same ending sound. So we need both the vowel sound and the ending sound to match. So this, if this ends up being confusing, if these pairs come up together with your little one and they struggle with it, that's okay. Because that's like a refined thing to be able to recognize that. But let's say we move on from moon and spoon that are close, but not correct, to two. So I'm going to say, well, Toby, let's try this. And he may or may not recognize the numeral 2, but you could say shoe, pointing to the shoe, and then I'm pointing to the 2. Let's try this one, Toby. Shoe, 2. Shoe, 2. Look at my mouth, Toby, as I say that. Shoe, 2. Is my mouth staying the same? Is your mouth staying the same? And together you would realize, yes, shoe and 2 rhyme. And he could, again, do the best he could to clip that 2 onto the plate with the shoe. And then you could move on to moon and spoon, which would certainly be a lot easier now since they wouldn't be confused with 2 or shoe. And then remember, I showed you these other pairs. So I have, let's see, that's 3 pairs, 4, 5, 6. So I made 7 pairs in all, so you can mix them up. And it's possible that with an older child, maybe a 5-year-old, you could put out more pairs and more plates or more circles like we talked about, cutting from a cereal box or something to clip them on. But I would say with the first time you try this with a 3-year-old, try just 3 pairs, maybe even 2 to start with. So anyhow, that's rhyming pairs. Wonderful school readiness activity. Really begins to teach your child to listen to the sounds in words and the parts of sounds in words, as well as gives them some practice with eye-hand coordination and even strengthening, because this is a pretty stiff clothespin, strengthening their hands and the muscles in the hands and then the wrist. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have some fun with that. And I wish you well, and I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.